I did lose a big chunk of my hair right in the center of my head in 2021. Like, so I freaked out and ran to the hairdresser,
Hmm.
and he goes, "Well, this is unfortunate. It's in the center of your head." And I was like, "Fix it. What is it? Like, is something wrong? Do I need to go to the doctor?
Yeah.
I've never seen this before."
Yeah.
But what I ended up doing was I raced home and made that concoction right behind you called Glow, and I drank about 4 bottles of it. And I mean, you can't tell that.
Yeah. No,
No,
nothing at all.
you can't tell. So that's become our second bestseller.
So I'm Chris with Cherokee Auto Sales, and I'm introducing Fiona Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And Fiona has two businesses here. She's got Saucy Foxy Herbal Medicine, and then Fox Muscle and Joint. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to talk about Fox Muscle and Joint first, and then we're going to spend the majority of the time talking to Fiona about her business and her personal life and her family and the good that she does in the world with her products here. So Fox Muscle and Joint is a medical neuromuscular therapy clinic.
Yes, lots of
Yeah,
big words.
yeah, yeah. So they treat a lot of chronic pain, pre and post-operative orthopedic, military, athletes. They employ Tennessee licensed massage therapies with a very deep understanding of anatomy and physiology. They have memberships available here. They have 4 packs, which is 4 visits. And then a lot of their clients elect the membership here, which is the most popular. And that membership is good for your entire family, especially if you've got 6 kids that are playing sports. That's going to be good for the best value for your family. So they're the last place that a lot of the clients and patients will come for relief, and they get a lot of referrals from Knoxville Orthopedic, KOC, and TOC
TOC.
at
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee Orthopedic clinics here in town. And then they can implement corrective exercises and I'm assuming um, drawing a blank here.
Stretching.
Stretching,
We can do
exactly. Yeah.
stretching,
Flexibility. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
flexibility, performance, corrective exercise, movement, rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you move better, you're not going to have the same aches and pains.
Right,
And
exactly.
then some lifestyle changes, like don't text with your thumbs. That's the worst thing you can do.
Ah, there you go. Something simple.
There you go.
And they're located physically at 9051 Executive Park Drive, Suite 600, which is directly behind the Transformation Church on Cross Park Drive off of Cedar Bluff. And they are across the street from Cellular Sales on Executive Park Drive. So you can actually pull right up in front of their building here, and you can see their sign on the door, Suite 600. It's on the very bottom off of Executive Park Drive here. It's nice to meet you today, Fiona.
You too. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming and hang out with us.
Absolutely. You can see the products behind us here.
Mm-hmm.
She's got...
We've got some natural skincare, and then that's actually made for us by an herbalist in California.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything here in glass bottles is something that I make myself. And then I don't know if you can see this side, but we have handmade soaps from our friend Tara, who retired and got some goats.
Aww.
And then went,
they're pretty.
There's a lot of goats. There's a lot of goat milk. So
right.
she learned how to make soap. And a lot of our clients have autoimmune conditions and everything else. They love all these products because they're allergic to so many things on the market. And then over there, it's the Saucy Foxy products that I can't make myself that actually require special equipment in a lab.
Right.
So a really nice facility down in Orlando makes them for us.
Nice.
So things like omegas and probiotics and really high dosage antioxidants that I just can't formulate safely or effectively on my own.
Right. It's going to be more homeogenic because it's done in an actual laboratory. Got a very comfortable couch here. And then you can see the television with the dog. What's your dog's name?
Coda.
Oh, Coda.
Coda.
You got him on your Instagram and your Facebook a lot.
And
it's a boy? Okay.
It's a boy, and he's actually a retired service dog. He was actually trained specifically for me. He's 13 now. He was trained for me as a rescue when he was 3 by Animal Farm Foundation in New York.
Wow.
And he was trained to help me walk. He was trained to help me pick up things. And I don't need him anymore because of the help that he gave me. I got to do all the rehab stuff for myself, so I don't need him.
Right. So tell your story. You've got a story here to tell.
Yes, I do. 2002, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And very, very quickly, I was in a wheelchair. And at that point, I was doing a completely different career. I was actually teaching history.
Oh, wow.
And
so in high school, middle school, college?
I was actually doing my PhD.
Oh, wow.
And I was actually teaching at Curtin University in Western Australia. I was in San Francisco, but still teaching remotely. And I just collapsed one day. The problem I really had then was I felt like I couldn't explain myself to my doctors.
Mm.
Like I couldn't explain to them, this is not working or this is how I feel, other than I feel terrible.
Mm.
So I did what any researcher would do. I went back to school for a degree in anatomy and physiology and adaptive fitness.
Right. Wow.
So I went back basically to be able to have a conversation.
Mm.
And what stemmed from that was I became an American College of Sports Medicine exercise physiologist and started my own rehab.
Mm-hmm.
And people started saying, hey, you're doing great. My friend needs this.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help?
Right.
And that's how my first business in this industry started.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I was seeing so many chronic conditions, so many autoimmune conditions, that became my specialty. And you need to do 60 hours of continuing education every year to keep your license. Mm-hmm. So that's how I spent my time. I did continuing education in autoimmune diseases, in herbalism, and just constantly upskilling every year. And this I guess is the result of the last 22 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So how was the MS?
I just had
still there, or
it's interesting because I moved to Knoxville 2020. Had to get a new PCP and all the grown up things you're supposed to do when you move. The adulting, and then now I'm older too, and you just feel like you need to have a PCP. So I was explaining to my new PCP here. And he said to me, you know what? He goes, you don't have any symptoms.
Wow.
So
there you go.
He said, can you do me a favor just so that I have it on file? Can you please go get an MRI? So January, I was at Park West and I had my MRI, and they sent him, he literally called me, 3 hours after I came out of the MRI machine. Yeah. And he says, are you having migraines? Are you experiencing anything? Are you okay? What's happening? And I was like, I'm still fine. I saw you last week. I was fine last week. I'm fine this week.
Still the same.
And he goes, are you sure? He goes, did you see your report? So the lesions are still there. The lesions are still in my frontal temporal lobe. I actually have more lesions since my last MRI in 2017. Right. And I have lesions down my spinal cord. So technically I shouldn't be walking. I shouldn't be doing a lot of things. But I do believe in the power of neurogenesis, and I do believe in the power of your body's ability to heal itself. Sure. So I think that's where I am right now, is I'm not on any medications.
Nice.
I take my herbals.
Right.
I should be doing more exercise when I'm not as busy, but I don't need my dog anymore. I have, full neurological function.
Right.
So here we are.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Everybody has a challenge to their day. Thanks for sharing that. Exactly. That's a really big deal. So you can find out more about Saucy Foxy from their Google business profile. It's just pull up Saucy Foxy here in Knoxville. And at the bottom, there's going to be links to their website. There's links to their Instagram. There's links to their Facebook. Crazy content, good content on Instagram. There's videos. There's bright pictures. They have a website. You can order the products on the website. You can get a free consultation. You want to talk about the consultation?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the biggest things is I always want to make sure people are on the right things. And it's really interesting that we have every year I say to people on January, start thinking about, go through your supplement closet, because people go, well, I saw this news article. I'm going to get me some vitamin E. Then I'm going to get some vitamin C. And the next thing you know, you have a basket full of vitamins and stuff. And you're like, what is all this for?
Right.
So go see somebody like me, and I do it for free. And let's assess, do you really need this? And you really shouldn't be on the same things that you were on 3 years ago. And if a lot of places sell a subscription, like every 3 months, we're going to send you a bottle of this. Do you still need it? Is it helping? Like if it's not, then you shouldn't be taking it, because just because it's natural doesn't mean it's not creating a toxic load in your system. So you want
sometimes they're fat soluble and they can become toxic.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So it could be toxic, or it just clogs out your lymphatic system. So now your whole body sewer system is not doing what it needs to do. And some people go, a lot of people have gut problems. So they're like, I took this for my gut health, and I took this and I took this. And I'm like, well, now you're on 6 things. Do you really need 6 things?
Yeah,
no, you don't. Yeah. So we'll sit down and we'll go through everything. There's no pressure to buy anything that's mine, because it's just to give you
consulting.
Options.
Yeah, you're giving them a free consultation. Right. And it's in person, or she does video consultation. So you can use Zoom, or how do you?
I use Google Meet.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So then you get the calendar invite, I get the calendar invite, and everybody's on the same page.
Right. Yeah, and so if you've got here at Fox Muscle and Joint, they do massage therapy with add-ons. There's like cold lasers.
We do all
and-
that, but it's
yeah.
all part of the one price.
Right.
We
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
upcharge
Right.
because it's whatever the body needs and whatever we can do for you.
Right.
We will do it in that hour that you have. You've
Yeah.
bought the whole hour. You've bought the professional services
Mhm.
for that hour or
Yep.
90 minutes or however long you
Yeah,
want.
for sure.
Mhm.
So how did you meet your partner? And tell me about the day that you met him and how that worked out. How long have you been together?
Well, it's kind of two parts to that story. So I used to own a company, and I was selling bioenergy patches.
Mhm.
And we sold to therapists all around the world. And they were little Mylar programmable patches that you'd wear. And one of my assistants says to me one day, calls me, and he says, "You have to talk to this asshole from Knoxville." And I go, "My job is not customer service."
Sure. Yeah.
And he says, "No, he spends enough money that it is your job."
Oh.
And they go, his name's Robert Fox.
Mhm.
He's seeing athletes at University of Tennessee. I guess he's using it on his athletes, so you
Mhm.
better talk to him.
Right.
And they're like, and he is mad. And I was like, "What did you guys do?" They're like, "We don't think it's us. We think it's him. He's just mad."
Oh. He's just having a bad day.
He's just bad. So I messaged him and I said, "Let's do a Zoom."
Mm.
And he says, "What's a Zoom?" Oh, this is going to be a long day. So we set up the Zoom and we got on Zoom, and he was just the nicest guy.
Mm.
"So nice to meet you. I love your product. What can I
Aw.
do to grow it?" And I was like, "So what are you upset about?"
Mm, yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, I just wanted to meet you."
That was his lead in.
That was his lead in.
Yeah.
And then he said to me, he says, "Hey, and then he goes, "Here's my personal cell phone."
Mm.
And I went, "Okay."
Where were you living at the time?
San Francisco.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Here's my personal cell phone." And I was like, "Okay." He says, "Well, is it okay if I reach out to you directly? If I have any questions or if I need consultations for some of my clients?" And I go, "Yeah, sure. Here's my phone number." And for the next 2 to 3 years, he would call regularly. And then
what does that mean regularly? Like every day, every week?
Once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But and he'll just be like, "Hey, I have a question."
Yeah.
And he'll ask a question. And I'm sitting there going, either this person is really dumb or he just wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
Because he was asking questions and I'm like, "No, you're smart enough to answer that yourself."
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But he'll start talking and he'll tell me about his day and he'll ask me about mine. And this goes on for like 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. 2.5 years. And then finally one day he says to me, he goes, "Hey, I have a personal question for you." And I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Can I take you out for dinner?"
Aw.
And I was like, "I'm in San Francisco."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, we'll make it happen." So that's how that started.
So where did dinner happen the first time?
Actually,
San Francisco or
Knoxville.
Oh, it did.
I came out to Knoxville. I actually came out to
Dollywood,
Knoxville.
right?
I mean, everybody loves Dolly. So we ended up moving in together during the pandemic because we were kind of deciding what we were going to do with our lives.
Sure.
And then the lockdown happened.
Yeah.
He actually hung that TV up the day, 2 hours before they announced the lockdown. He just signed the lease.
Yeah. Wow, it's scary.
And he had just signed the lease, and they're like, "We're locking you down."
Yeah.
And I was in San Francisco, and I was going to come out here, but they're like, "We're locking you down." So we talked, we would plug our phones in, and we literally talked to each other every day for 6 hours, petrified of what we were like, what were we going to do with our lives?
So you were in California, and he was here,
right? And there was literally nothing we could do. I couldn't even leave my apartment. And then
California is different.
They were tough. Yeah. And then March went by. April was going by, and he says, "Look, you need to make it like, you should come out here because they're opening up." And so I was like, "You know what?" I said, "I'm going to fly out and just to make sure that I'm doing the right thing."
Right.
So Coda and I got on the plane, and we were the only 2 people on the plane. It was fantastic. COVID travel was the best.
You had a commercial jet private.
Yeah. I mean, there was 2. There was the pilots. There was 3 cabin crew, and me and the dog.
Yeah.
So and it cost $200.
That's nice.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And we got to Knoxville, and then coming out in Knoxville was just this completely different world. People were starting to do things, and people
a lot of resistance here.
Right. And so I was like, "You know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to go back and see if it's going to start opening up." Because at this point, if you're a small business and I'm a one-person small business, your savings were just, you're
Yeah,
paying
right.
$4,000 a month in rent for your
Sure,
apartment. You're
right,
paying $2,000 a month for your clinic.
right.
Like money was
Yeah,
just
pouring out. Yeah,
pouring out,
yeah,
like just pouring out.
yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm just
Hmm.
going to do it.
Yeah, right.
So I did.
Never look back.
Never look
Yeah,
back. And
yeah,
this is probably, I mean, I would never have imagined this in San Francisco.
yeah.
Like, so here we are.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Very healthy room here. You got a lot of certificates on the wall over here as
We
well.
have certificates
Yeah.
there. We've got licenses down the
Everywhere.
hall.
Yeah,
There's,
everywhere.
everyone needs to be certified and licensed.
Yeah.
There's the Department of Health.
And you're a member twice of the Chamber of Commerce, you
Yes,
said.
because there's this Fox Muscle and
Mhm.
Joint, because that's the neuromuscular clinic. And then
Right.
if you want to promote Saucy Foxy, which is the herbal clinic,
Mhm.
we took out 2 different memberships.
So there's no confusion
So there's
there.
no confusion. Well, so
Yeah.
then, you can't kind of put 2 logos together.
Yeah. Tell us about an organization that rings true to you and your soul as an individual.
I've been a Rotarian since I was 17.
Hmm.
And
So the Rotary Club.
the Rotary Club.
Mhm.
And I haven't moved my membership to Knoxville yet. They call me every time. I'm working on it. If those of you are watching, I'm working on it.
Right.
So that's a place I spend a lot of time at. And then since moving to Tennessee, it's such a sports oriented
It is,
community, and a lot of kids don't have the ability to pay to go to play sports.
Sure.
So we support Legends of Tennessee,
Mhm.
which is a football camp run by Jabari Davis in Vol.
Oh, are you a morning person or a night person, and do you use an alarm clock in the morning?
I don't need to use an alarm because I have a husband that wakes up at 5 o'clock.
Gotcha. Very good.
But
So he's on it in the morning.
He's on it.
Yeah,
he's ready to go.
But what does he do? Does he have like a schedule in the morning that he does every morning, or?
Well, he does a lot of social media. So 5 o'clock in the morning, probably like you.
Right.
He sits there and he does all the social media,
Mhm.
and then I kind of start being a real person at about 6.
Mhm.
So he has an hour where he's doing whatever he's doing, but I can hear him because he's mumbling. So I'm kind of awake.
Mhm.
But then when I'm actually awake, that's when I get to have my coffee.
So your coffee, you're a coffee person.
Yes.
Is there a particular kind of coffee? Is it hot? Is it cold? Do you have
Double
special
shot
creamers?
espresso. Double shot espresso.
Okay.
That's it.
Black.
Black.
Okay. You sip it? Do you kill it?
It depends on the day. I usually like to sip it while I go through my social media, because like when people message us and everything else, I feel like I that's when I get to respond before the day, because once the day starts, that's not going to happen.
So what kind of coffee are you making a double shot of espresso out of?
So you get the whole, and I've had different versions of the same thing for 30 years. It is a Saeco, which is now owned by Philips, super semi-automatic coffee
maker. So you have a super semi-automatic Philips. So you just push the button.
You put your beans at the top, and then you push your button, and then it grinds it, then it temps it, then it gives you your espresso.
Yeah. So the beans, what kind of bean? Do you have a particular kind of bean that you like to use, or?
I like to try different beans.
Okay, good.
So I'll like find what I like, and then I'll blend the two.
Yeah.
So we're open to beans.
Colombian, Robusto, flavored. Or just everything?
Everything.
Okay.
I'm not so much into the flavored coffee, but like the nice, like I don't want it super dark so that it's burnt and bitter, but it's kind of like a deep medium.
Yeah. Burnt and bitter is not good.
No.
My daughter got me some blueberry. She went to a festival here in town and brought me some blueberry coffee, and then she brought me some peanut butter coffee.
Oh.
Beans. They had been roasted.
We were at the Corvette show up in Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
And there was a company from Texas called Gearhead Coffee. I think it's good. Pecan coffee.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Was that good stuff?
That was good stuff.
Yeah,
I was surprised because I'm not a flavored coffee person. So for me to be like, oh, this is good stuff.
Yeah. So I like 8 o'clock coffee because it's fruity, nutty.
Right.
If you've never tried 8 o'clock, get some 8 o'clock beans. Yeah. Really good. That's the only coffee I drink.
Okay.
And I drink it every morning. It's
good.
And if I ever have anything else, like when we're traveling, I'll try other stuff. I always go back to it. Yeah.
To
It's got a little nutty to it.
Okay.
I'm a peanut butter person.
I'm going to have to try that one.
Yeah. So where did you go to school and grow up?
I grew up in Perth, Western Australia, and I went to primary school and high school at a place called Presbyterian Ladies College, which is very bougie. And my first degree was from the University of Western Australia. My second degree was from Curtin University. And then when I got into this, I actually went to community college in San Francisco. So I went to Foothills Community College in San Mateo. And then I started doing, the upskilling was just all over the country, all over the world
Mhm.
to get all that. So that's kind of the
I hear no Australia in your voice. So where did you live when you were really young?
um
In Australia?
so I was born in Malaysia
Ah,
and I moved to Australia when I was 10.
okay,
And then I moved to California when I was 19.
okay.
But here's the thing, I had to take speech therapy classes in California because
Mm.
nobody could understand me because my Australian accent
Was
was
so
so thick,
strong. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But apparently it still comes out when I'm really angry
Yeah,
or
yeah,
when I'm on the phone with my mom.
yeah. Okay. So I lived in Michigan until I was 11.
Mhm.
And so you people here in the Michigan,
Right,
and so yeah, some they'll be like, where do you like I've been in Tennessee since I was 11.
right.
So they'll be like, you're not from around here, are you? And I'm like, yes, I
Yes,
am.
I am. Well, there's certain words that I say, and people are, oh yeah, I can hear that
Yeah,
accent.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I heard it when you said conversations with my mom. I heard you say 2 words, and I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I caught the Australian a little bit. Sometimes Crocodile Dundee comes out in people, and it's just like,
Oh, that's when I'm really
yeah,
mad.
yeah. It's
you
like,
don't want you
wow.
don't want the crocodile
I want
Dundee.
you to talk more because that's interesting. You don't want the Crocodile Dundee. So you've been in Knoxville for 2 years,
No,
you said, 4
4 years.
years, yeah,
Hmm.
since 2020.
Hmm.
Did y'all get COVID?
No. Okay. We've never had COVID in the clinic. We
Mm-hmm.
never had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We practiced something here where we were just like we were really careful about sanitizing
Yeah,
everything, and so I have to say we never had a case of COVID traced back to us.
good.
And I don't believe we had COVID. We got tested all the time, but I did lose a big chunk of my hair right in the center of my head in
Mm-hmm.
2021. Like I went in the shower, all this hair fell out. I came out the shower and I had a bald patch literally this big in the center of my head and I freaked out.
Wicked.
Yeah, so I freaked out and ran to the hairdresser
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, "Well, this is unfortunate. It's in the center of your head." And I was like, "Fix it. What is it? Like, is something wrong? Do I need to go to the doctor?
Yeah.
I've never seen this before."
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, I think you had COVID." I was like, "I have not had COVID."
Mm.
And he was saying that he saw a lot of his COVID clients would lose all their hair.
Mm.
But since I've never had COVID,
Mm.
I don't know. But what I ended up doing was I raced home and made that concoction right behind you called Glow. And I drank about 4 bottles of it. And I mean, you can't tell that.
Yeah, no,
No,
nothing at all.
you can't tell. So that's become our second bestseller. Glow for hair, skin, and nails, and the younger guys use it for when they start having male pattern baldness.
Right?
So
So this helps their hair be thicker
thicker,
and stronger?
grow your hair back. Yeah.
Wow.
So that one's been really really popular.
Glow.
Glow, hair, skin, and nails. That's about it. Oh, also great for UTIs, and a really good immune support as well.
Nice.
Mhm.
Everybody needs that.
Exactly.
So, can you go into some detail about what a master herbalist
Yes,
is?
it's just basically just a title.
Mhm.
That's what they give you when you complete all your coursework.
Mhm.
And you can do. Some people do. The American Guild of Herbalists
Mhm.
require 800 hours of coursework. So you
Right.
could be anywhere from 150 hours to 3,000 hours. I actually have what they call an advanced master herbalist. So at this point, I'm not really quite sure what that is. It just means you've completed at least
Certain.
150,
Mm.
a certain amount of hours.
Right.
And then to be part of the guild, you also have to have clinical hours,
Right.
obviously. And then, with me, I make product.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that's considered
Yeah.
hours
You
as
know what
well.
you're talking about.
Yes, you need
For
to know what
sure.
you're talking
Yeah,
about. You need
yeah.
to be able to identify plants. You
Yeah.
need to know what contraindications are and what not to use and what's legal and what's not legal.
Yeah.
Because there are certain plants, especially in the United States, there are certain states that you can't send certain plants to.
Mm. In one of the conversations that we had prior to starting this interview, Fiona said that when she'll get a batch of herbs in, she'll test the quality of them. And if they're not up to her level of quality, she'll just discard them and let the supplier know that she's having to discard them. And don't send me any more from that batch.
Yeah,
So,
because you have to, because all of this, they have they technically have a 10-year shelf life.
Yeah.
It's never stayed on the shelf for that long.
Sure, yeah.
But it has a 10-year shelf life. So you need herbs that are, dried a certain way. They have to be crisply dried,
Right.
but they still have to retain their color, their
I
texture.
see herbs down here.
These are the actual herbs. So,
oh, wow.
So we want people to interact with it when they come in, because in their head, they kind of think it's a capsule, it's a pill, but you can open all of these bottles, smell them, touch them, but that is exactly what is in. I've basically taken a little scoop out of each bag.
Yeah. That's neat. It looks like something you'd cook with. And then this, if you'll go to her website and you look at her #1 product, this Load Master Red Nail Enhancement. Tell us what this does for the men.
Okay, so it is First
I guess women can take it as well.
Women can take it too.
Yeah,
yes. So it's an adrenal support.
So you shake it really good.
Shake it really good. Hold your nose. Take your teaspoon.
Doesn't taste good.
None of this tastes good. Just full disclosure.
Paige, plug your nose when you take it. This is my daughter. We had a Robitussin.
Right. Oh, yeah.
She was young.
So when you turn 35 as a man, your testes stop regulating your testosterone as much. So it goes into your adrenals. Your adrenals take over that function. And so now in our modern world, we're dealing with fight and flight, stress, work, life, adulting. Now you also have to do testosterone management. That's when you start seeing people going, I have low T. My doctor says I have low T. Why do I have low T?
Right.
It's not necessarily that you have low T. It's you're not regulating it well.
Sure.
So we give you some adrenal support. A lot of it's a great pre-workout for a lot of our athletes.
Right.
And it's just to give you that adrenal support that regulate your fight or flight response.
Right.
So that one, and then most men, obviously, they get, once they told that they have low T, they start testing themselves over, every 3 or 6 months.
Right.
And when they take this product, they see this increase. So, and again, this stuff is you're not supposed to be on it for the rest of your life.
Right.
You want to build it up and then give yourself a break or have a maintenance dose.
Right.
My husband's 56 this year. He takes it 1 teaspoon once a month.
Okay.
And, because we had the whole building up process. And, his T levels are perfectly normal. Good. So, and it's just about creating that balance, because your body has this amazing ability to heal itself. Yeah. But that label, that was the first label. This was the first product we created commercially. And this is the first product that he created a label for. And I said, what does LMR mean? He goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, you're marketing to men. And then he put a Tennessee TriStar on it. Right. He says, you can't give this to people with just, a bottle and it tastes awful. No one's ever going to buy it. Right. Even if it works.
Yeah. So really, it really doesn't matter. You can talk about placebo all day long, but it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what it tastes like. It's about what you expect out of it. Right. Yeah. What does it say, placebo or nocebo? So
nocebo. I mean, I believe the placebo is a brilliant thing for a lot of people. Yeah. That really helps them heal. Sure. And then also for postmenopausal women, if your testosterone starts going down too, you want to take that. And if your libido is going down, that's also a great one for you as well. And then also if your energy levels are just low.
So this will increase your libido also. 50 and up. Especially, but 40 and up.
Yeah. Definitely 50 and up.
Got my fingerprints all over that bottle.
That's okay. We'll clean it.
All right. Next question here. When you were in school, tell us about somebody who had an impact on you.
The most recent impact, I would say, is Dr. Carl Knopf, because I called him. He was the adaptive fitness therapy director at Foothills College, and I called him and I said, "This is who I am. This is what's happening to me. I'm in a wheelchair. What can you do for me?" Wow. And he says, "Well, what are you doing this weekend?" Oh. And I said, "Nothing, because I'm in a wheelchair." Yeah, right. Right? He goes, "Come to class." Yeah. And I showed up at class, and he's handing out assignments to the students, and he's, everyone has to do their internship, because part of what we do here is you really do need internships. Anything that is physiologically related or, like you're working with somebody else, you do need your internship hours. Right. And I sat there going, well, I'm technically not enrolled in this class, so I'm guessing that doesn't apply to me. And he looks at me and he points at me and he says, you're interning with me. Here's where you're going to be. And I went, oh, I'm signing up for this. Right. And he was patient, and he really believed that I could learn what I wanted to learn and take care of myself. So if you can look him up on Amazon. He has all these books about.
Can you spell his last name?
Knopf. I might have spelled that wrong, but I might have to email that to you. But
Yeah.
he has all the training books, exercise training books for people over 50.
So let's talk about Carl
Knopf.
Knopf.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So the most recent biggest impact in my life was Dr. Carl Knopf, who was teaching adaptive fitness therapy at Foothill College in San Mateo in California, and he writes a lot of books for people, teaching them how to exercise or foam rolling for over 50. I think he has like the senior exercise Bible now.
Wow.
You can go find all his books on Amazon. You might find my name in a couple of them. So he was great because he just encouraged me to be okay. Like he helped me create a plan where I was learning, but at the same time, he provided this amazing therapy for me, and he introduced me to water therapy. So now I always encourage people to get in the water. If you have joint issues, if you need rehabilitation for your hips, knees, whatever, get in the water. Because you have the pressure, the PSI, pounds per square inch from the water. So you're getting that kind of resistance. But it's such a safe place to be, because if you fall over, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to be wet.
You're going to float.
Right. Yeah, well, hopefully you float. But yeah, but
you're going to sink slowly.
You're going to sink slowly, but you're not going to hurt yourself by falling over. So a lot of the fear of falling and hurting yourself and breaking something just goes away. And, once that fear is gone, you're so much able to do things. And I think that's part of what we do here.
Right.
Is when people come in, they're fearful because they're in pain and they've gone through everything. Let's work on removing that fear, because that is just debilitating.
Yeah. And so some of the chronic pains that you see people have coming in here, can you name off like the maybe 5 most popular that you see?
So we have the orthopedic chronic pain, like, you've had joint replacements, but the pain's never really gone away. Right. We have the fibromyalgia, we have the multiple sclerosis. A lot of people post-stroke have pain. So just chronic tissue that just won't heal.
Right.
But a lot of the times it's because they're in a certain movement pattern that is not good for them.
There we go.
They might need to make some lifestyle changes, or they just have systemic inflammation, or their systemic pH is not balanced. I carry on about systemic pH all the time.
Yeah.
Because you can't heal. Like if you're in an acidic environment, your body just cannot heal.
Right.
So we just want to put them in a position, and part of it is, they'll come in and they're like, I'll make every change in the world. And you're like, well, you don't have to. You have to make the change that will stick so that you can heal.
So I'm just curious. I mean, if you've got a systemic pH that's acidic, how do you get it more alkaline?
I have a product up there called Gout Neutralizer.
Right.
It's a uric acid uric acid alkalizer. So like if you have chronic UTIs, if you have gout, obviously, and it's just when you get it out of the bottle, you'll see it's kind of slimy. It's like it's alkaline, like you can slippery.
So Gout Neutralizer, if you can see that on the bottle. Again, you can go to their website, you can click products, and you'll see all of the products. You can actually order them on there.
But we always love for you to have a consultation to make sure you're getting the right thing.
Right, exactly.
That's the most important part. You need to be getting the right thing.
Yeah, when I was in nursing school, I remember one of the physicians talking about there's some gout medicine that is really dangerous, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Extremely dangerous.
Right.
It's actually called colchicine. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Colchicine, yeah. What's the favorite part about your job?
I love hearing the success stories.
You're right.
It's just when someone just texts you and says, thank you, I didn't know this was possible, or thank you, I thought my life was going to be this and I was missing this. Like I think when you're injured or you have a chronic illness, you go through this grieving of the person that you used to be.
Right.
And we can't guarantee we're going to get you back to the exact same person, but we're going to get you close to it.
Sure.
And that's what.
Or somebody you're happy with.
Right. Or we spend a lot of time with our clients, and we see our clients come in very often. So we get to spend a lot of time. We know about their families. It's a very community-based clinic.
Sure.
So to see them, when they come in, the first time they come in, they're usually like really, oh, I've tried everything, but this is my last.
Yeah.
And then when they start coming in, they come in there with a smile, and they'll be like, hey, or they'll be like, hey, I was at the farmer's market, I got you some corn. Those are my days.
See their personality come out.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. Definitely. Church, religion, spirituality.
I'm not attending church at the moment. I haven't found a church yet. And then we have a lot of our clients go to church, and we always get invited. And a lot of our therapists go to church. So church. I grew up in the church. My
Right.
dad was Pentecostal.
Mhm.
Started off Baptist, became Pentecostal. I've been going to church Bible school since
Yeah.
I was 2.
You know who God is, then, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me now, it's kind of a
So you're a preacher's daughter.
I was.
Did I pick up on that?
Mhm. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So now my beliefs are it's I work on my relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
I read my Bible. I still do. I've had a subscription to My Daily Bread since
Mhm.
I was maybe 10.
Oh.
So it's like 40 years now.
Yeah.
And now it's an app, which is awesome.
Oh.
So I'll do that. Like I'll do my daily devotionals with that.
Right.
And I think when you build a business, when you've gone through what we've gone through and being ill and all of that, you kind of have this belief that there is a reason for you to be here.
Yeah.
There's a reason for you to be here. There's a reason for you to be of service.
For sure.
So if you can find that,
Mm-hmm.
that is your meaning in life.
It's your purpose, right?
Mhm.
I agree with you 100%. Are you a big book reader? Is there a book that you've read that you'd like to talk about and tell us about?
So my friend Kat and I do a little business podcast. Like
Mhm.
it's 5 minutes long. It's not as extensive as this.
Yeah.
We do little 5-minute things. And it's called Grow and Glow with Kat and Fee. And we decided to do it after we both read this book called Profit First.
Mhm.
And
So profit is like profit in the Bible?
no,
or
profit as in money.
Profit first.
Profit
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting because it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's this very simple concept, and he talks about how small business owners, their business might not be working. Like you could actually just be working to be in debt.
Right.
And he says, they take pride in the fact that I haven't paid myself in 6 months. And that is not why we,
nope.
you can't do that.
Nope.
You cannot do that.
Nope.
So we started implementing it like the day we read the book.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of small business owners that come in and see us, and they'll be like, "Oh, are you worried about the economy? Are you worried about the elections? Are you worried about the recession? Are you worried about inflation?" And we're like, "No." And they're like, "Why?" And I was like, "Seriously, because of this book. Because it tells you, like, what you can spend, know what you can't spend,
right?
And if you stick to it, if you follow it, it works.
It does.
It's crazy.
You got a plan. You got a budget.
Right. You have. And it's a budget, and it's like." The crazy thing, and I think banks are used to it now because it's quite a popular book.
Right.
We had to go to the bank and open up like I think 5-6 different accounts. So you basically put it in little kitties.
Yeah.
And this is how much is going to the tax office. This is how much is going here, and this is how much is going there. This is how much you're allowed to spend. And if there's nothing in there, guess what? You're not spending anything.
Right. That's it. Are you familiar with Dave Ramsey?
Yes.
Okay. So the envelope system.
Right.
Financial piece. Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I've not heard of that before. We're big Dave Ramsey people, so that's an important part of my life because I used to be kind of messy, and then I met someone, and then they taught me how to. Well, they introduced me to the concepts of building wealth, and that's been one of the biggest things that's happened to me in the last 15 years, actually.
And and it's a discipline.
It is,
right? And it's also planning ahead for your business. If it's like you want a $20 tool, yeah, sure, I can go buy you a $20 tool. But if our tables cost anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000.
Very sturdy.
Very, very sturdy. We have to have them really, really sturdy.
Yeah.
You can't just wake up one day and go, "Hey, we need a new table." Well, you can, but you want to do things like you pay off your credit card every month. You want to have no debt.
I mean, you really don't.
It's basically the.
If you do it all organically, then you don't. When the economy takes a swing down, or you have a bad month or a bad quarter, it really doesn't affect you.
Right. So people are like, "Why are you so calm?" I was like, "Because
my home is paid for. I don't have any credit card debt.
We have no credit card debt. Yeah,
right.
We have zero credit card
That's
debt.
Good.
So
that's weird. Dave says that all the time. He says, "You're weird people."
Yeah, we are weird people.
Be weird.
We are weird.
Yeah,
we have no debt.
Yeah, it's good. Hey.
Yay!
We don't either. Okay, so you want to recommend a movie to everyone or a Netflix documentary that you've seen that had an impact on you?
Oh, we saw a documentary we saw the Marilyn Monroe thing on Netflix.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. Someone will know. And I guess I just, she was always just this really pretty woman on the screen.
Yeah.
and I just knew nothing about it, and I was not a huge. I obviously didn't grow up in America during that time, so I
Right.
was not part of the whole Kennedy era thing.
Right.
So I just thought it was fascinating.
Really? I'll have to check that out. I've
Yeah,
not
so
heard of
I was just
that.
like, wow, okay. I did not like because it entwined international politics with the Kennedys and Maryland,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh,
Wow.
did not know that.
A lot of fingers there.
Yeah, lots of things happening, and clearly, she had mental health issues, and um,
I'll have to look that up. I don't think
yeah,
we've seen that.
yeah. I think it's a Netflix original, I believe.
Wow, we'll have to check
Don't
that
quote
out.
me on that,
Yeah.
but I think
Marilyn
that's
Monroe Netflix original.
Yeah.
Dietary recommendations to people to live their best life.
Okay, 3. Well, one's not a dietary, one's just a lifestyle. 1, don't use mouthwash ever. 2, don't use protein powders ever. 3, eat all your vegetables cooked.
Eat vegetables cooked. So do you want to tell us the background behind
Sure.
the mouthwash first?
Mouthwash. This is the first place your gut microbiome starts, right here.
Right.
And antibacterial mouthwash, believe it or not, does the job. They kill everything.
Oh wow.
So when all of this,
so still brush your teeth though.
Brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Brush your teeth. Go
floss,
go floss. Brush your
pick.
teeth. Water pick. You can use like a non-antibacterial mouthwash, kind of like a neem mouthwash, if you really need a mouthwash.
Non-alcohol would be
non-alcohol, non-antibacterial. If it says antibacterial on it, do not use it.
Okay.
You want all the bacteria in your mouth.
Okay.
Because this is the start of your gut bacteria.
Right.
Because what goes in here goes into your stomach, goes into your gut lining. So you really want this doing well. And if you have if you're like, hey, I need this because I have bad breath, it's not your mouth, it's your gut. So we can fix that.
Yeah.
So definitely brush your teeth. Go get your dental checkups constantly. Just make sure everything's right. But get rid of the mouthwash.
Right.
A lot of people who come in with heartburn or ulcerative colitis, the first thing I say is get rid of your mouthwash. You'll feel better.
Such a simple thing.
Yeah.
Never heard that before. What was the second one?
The second one is protein powders. Do not take protein powders. There's probably only, and someone will be like, my protein powder is really clean. That's nice. There's probably only about three manufacturers in America that makes all the protein powders. And it's not the protein that's going in. It's the fact that it's hyper processed. You're basically creating this sticky, gooey, when it goes into your villi and it gets stuck. So the villi moves the food along. And once it gets stuck, it is not going to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that the micro processing of that protein sinks it in like quicksand.
Oh, yeah.
So again, when people go, I'm gassy, I'm farty, I'm smelly, that's why.
It's because your microvilli aren't moving because of potential protein powder. So how would you recommend people get protein?
Food.
Okay.
Eat meat. Eat
is there a magic bullet? Is there a great? This is something like a cheat code hack.
I wish that the best thing I can say is like eat meat, eat vegetables, eat fish.
Yeah.
Eggs are great. Don't believe that. Don't just eat egg whites. Eat the whole egg.
Yeah.
Eat real food.
Yeah.
Basically, if you eat real food, even if you are a bodybuilder and you're like, I need to eat, 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight.
Right.
You can. You don't even need to, because if you eat unprocessed food, your body uses it differently.
Right.
You're creating mass and you're creating density in a completely different way.
Yeah.
It's completely digestible.
Yeah. Cool. Well, great. And then the third one?
Oh, no raw vegetables if you can.
Okay.
Even if it's lettuce, cook it.
Okay. So don't eat a salad? Like a triple washed lettuce?
If you have to.
Yeah.
But again, when people come in and they're like, I'm trying to eat healthy, I'm eating salads, but I'm all bloated.
Yeah.
It's because your body can't process it. Don't eat kale. Kale is bad.
Okay.
Kale is used basically as a fallow material. So when your land has grown things and it needs to be cleaned, the soil needs to be cleaned, you use kale. So kale will pull all the toxins out of soil.
Oh, wow.
And now you're eating it.
Oh, wow. Going right to your liver.
It's going somewhere, but it's hurting you. Yeah,
okay.
No kale.
So eat cooked vegetables.
Cooked carrots, spinach, grill lettuce.
So tell us about your youth, your parents growing up, your siblings. I'm interested to know kind of how that worked out in the relationships, your family. How important was that in your growth?
Oh, I've been really lucky that we have a huge family all over the world. Everywhere you go, you're related to somebody. My dad had a really rough childhood growing up. So for him, biologically, it was me and my sister. He had 2 daughters. And my mom's family is huge. My grandfather was a translator during World War II for the British government. So they had a, I guess, more privileged life. And my mom grew up in Malaysia.
Okay.
And but everything was, I grew up with my grandparents. We grew up in a multi-generational household.
Oh, nice.
So that was always the thing. And then when we moved to Australia, we all moved to Australia. Like when we
Right.
all moved.
Wow.
And we've always had huge families. Like Sunday night is 20 people at dinner.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of how I grew up. Church in the morning, youth group on Friday night, that kind of thing. Then in I get the date right, 2007, when my MS was kind of really bad, I saw a documentary about the end of the Nepalese Civil War. So the civil war in Nepal and the fight now that India and China was having over the land and resources in Nepal, and that 25% of the kids there were now orphans.
Wow.
So I thought, oh, I'm not walking very well, but it would mean that I would have to train to go there. I would actually physically go and do my rehab and do my exercises, because they don't have wheelchair accessible anything there. And I contacted a place called Nepal Orphans Home, and I said I would like to do a service trip. I would like to be there for a month over Christmas to spend time with the kids. I'm not sure how much I can do. I can maybe sit in a chair and read to them.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Peel some potatoes.
Right. Yeah. And they were like, sure, we would love to have you. So we ended up going for a month and decided to adopt 2 girls after that. And so for the next 10 years, because of all the red tape and, child trafficking through Nepal and everything else, I ended up commuting between San Francisco and Kathmandu for 10 years. And so in that process, I was adopted by a really nice family, and their dad was the chief of police in Singapore, and they adopted me, and that's the family I just went up to visit yesterday.
Oh, in Chicago.
Yeah. So, and they call me daughter, and I call them mom and dad, and I have 2 brothers and a sister from that family, and nephews, and half the Midwest now, and I think that's the amazing thing about family. It's what you create.
Yeah.
Because these people, Bobby came up with me because he'd never met them before, and they did a Buddhist ceremony to welcome him into the family. Right. But you're not treated different. Like if you're family, you are family.
Right. You're accepted.
You're accepted. Yeah. And I think that's, having lived in so many places around the world by myself, with people or not with people, or not with my biological family, the creation of family has been really vital for me.
And then the last question is, tell me a story about where attitude played a big part in your success.
Is that good attitude or bad attitude?
It can be a good attitude or a bad attitude. What lesson did you learn from it?
One of the best things that I can say to you about this clinic is all our clients are amazing. Yeah. And therapists will come in, and that's the first thing that they'll come in for a job interview, and I'll say, you will not have a nasty client in here. And they look at you and they're like, what? I said, yeah, because we won't stand for it. Sure. And they're like, well, how do you stop it? How do you stop it? You're a business. You're, we have rules. Like we give them clinic rules when they come in. Yeah. And if you come in and you act a fool, we will sit you down and go, do you need more help? Sure. Like, is this a mental health issue? Is this an emotional issue? Is this something that we can't help you because you just don't want to be helped, or you're just not a happy person? Yeah. We have Bach flower remedies, which is designed for anxiety, depression, and emotional support. This is a happy place. This is a healing place. Right. So if you're not happy here, what's the problem? Right. And can we solve it? Right. So, once even if the toughest client, when you have that conversation with them, and it's not, you're not calling them out. You're just like, hey. You're
loving them, actually.
Right. You're just like, hey, we're here to help you. But you're kind of being an ass. Yeah. Yeah. So what's the problem? Like, is it something we can fix? Is it a scheduling issue? Is it you don't like your therapy?
Did something happen on the way here?
Right. Yeah. And so it's having that confidence to sort of say, hey, this is the environment we want to create here. That's it. Our attitude here is we're here to heal. We're here to support you. We don't talk politics here. We don't talk religion. You leave all that at the door. Yep. But this is a healing space.
Yeah.
So if you come here and you're aggravating the healing space for
Mhm.
not just yourself, but you're walking it past someone else's therapy room and they can hear you moaning and groaning and
Right.
not being happy, or you're mean to our
Yeah.
therapist. What's the problem?
Right.
Can we solve it?
Sure.
And if we can't, like, do you want to be here?
Yeah.
Like, we're a business.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
Right.
have to be
Right.
here.
Right.
But if there's something we can help you with, if there's something someone else we can refer you to,
Mhm.
Whether it's mental health, emotional health, a different type of therapy, let us do that for you, because we want you to be better and not walk around like a little dark cloud.
Sure.
So
An umbrella.
exactly. So that, I think that's the thing. When people come, like, our therapists will tell you, they're like, yeah, it's really cool working here, because
Yeah.
all the clients that come in,
Yeah.
they're happy. Like,
They're here for a reason.
They want
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
here. Even the clients that haven't been here before,
Mhm.
they learn very quickly.
Yeah.
This is a place for you to heal.
Mhm.
This is a place for you to, if you have a concern, voice it, communicate it with us, and we'll try to help you.
Yeah.
But be nice, be
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah.
Just don't be an ass.
Right. Right.
Basically.
Kindness goes a long way.
It really
so,
does.
One last hit here. Saucy Foxy
Mhm.
Herbal Medicine and Fox Muscle and Joint. You can go to her Google business profile at Saucy Foxy,
Mhm.
Knoxville, and you'll get links to the website. You'll get links to the Instagram page. You'll get links to the Facebook page, and you can comment on her Facebook. You
Mhm.
can order products. You can reach out to her and ask her for a
Consultation.
video consultation, or you can come here and do an in-person
Mhm.
consultation. This is there's a nice temperature in here, and it's actually a really pretty office here.
Oh, thank you.
very
Yeah,
nice,
no,
and
we'd love to.
I can tell you put a lot of love into this. So yeah.
It was. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one step at a time.
And she's here in West Knoxville, which is the most popular part of Knoxville.
Mhm.
A lot of people think that. So anyway, you're more centrally located
Wait,
here.
this is, I mean, this is perfect, because you can
Yeah.
come in from Lenore
Right.
City, you can
Yeah.
come in from Clinton, you can come
Yeah.
in from South Knox.
Yeah.
Yes, it's easy, and we're right off the freeway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So thank you for watching us, and have a good one.
Do you want to promote your business on our podcast? You can give us a call or shoot us a text at 865-687-7100. You can also apply by filling out our Google form in the description box.